Cheers, big boy.
Cheers, Marv.
All right, big dog. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I just spilled over myself. That's okay. So the first thing we always start off with is asking my guests to please share their name or nickname, how they want to be referred to as during the podcast.
Well, I've got a few.
What you got for me, big boy?
Well, there's Eric Jensen. That's, I guess I have one of those names that people like to say.
Like full name?
The full name. I've learned that over the years, Eric Jensen. But, my close friends from high school call me EJ. My bandmates call me Rick.
Okay.
One of my bandmates, Wesley Chiller, he calls me Rickle. In some circles in the music community of Orange County, I'm known as Jensen.
Okay.
Watch out, here comes Jensen. Air Bear, Biggie. You can call me whatever you want, Marv. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So starting off with your name, is your name a family name, or did you get it from how'd your parents come up with your name?
So, thank God my dad was not high when I was born, because my mom wanted to name me Boyd or Eugene, because her grandfather, his name was Eugene. Okay. Eugene DeLuise, or Poppy, as they called him. He was a Italian immigrant. Okay. Came over Ellis Island in the 20s, I think. I don't know. I should know my family's history. But Eric is, my family, my dad's side is Danish, and Eric's a pretty Scandinavian name. Okay. It actually means eternal ruler in Scandinavian.
It fits.
Yeah. Eternal ruler, or forever ruling. And my last name is Jensen, which is son of Jen, or it goes back to son of John. It's like a biblical name. Yeah. But yeah, Jensen is Danish surname for son of Jen. But Eric, legend has it my dad wanted that name because of Eric Clapton. He really liked, Tears from Heaven. Yeah. Even though that song is, from the era when he was being a piece of shit. But yeah, Eric. It's a lot better than Eugene or Boyd, in my opinion.
Hey, they're both.
So thanks, Dad.
Coming in clutch.
I could have been Dane or Darren, which would have been okay, but Eric feels right. Okay.
So you're second generation then, because your parents were born here. Your grandparents are from Europe.
No. I'm probably on my mom's side, I would be third generation. Okay. Because it would be my great-grandfather. It was my mom's grandfather. He's the one that came over. And then on my dad's side, it goes pretty far back. They've been in the United States since the late 1800s, the Jensens.
Nice. Do you know what they came over as? Were they farmers, or were they lawyers, or?
On my dad's side?
Yeah.
Shipbuilders.
Shipbuilders?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sick. How did you find out about that?
I've just been told. Yeah. Nova Scotia. So I guess that's part of Canada. Yeah. They came over from Denmark, and they were building ships in the shipyards of Nova Scotia.
That's sick.
And then eventually they wound up in Minnesota, in Illinois. Actually, no, not Minnesota, Illinois. Because my either great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather had a drugstore in Momence, Illinois, that I've learned about through my dad. Okay. It's still there. I don't think it's a small family-owned drugstore anymore.
That's sick.
But the building's still there, and it still has the mural on the side. Yeah. On the brick wall, back in.
So you've been back there?
I haven't. Okay. I think my dad has. I think he went there when he was a kid. Yeah. It used to be old soda fountain. You know how drugstores used to have a little ice cream shop. They call them soda fountains, because you go get a Coke float or a root beer float, which is one of my favorite treats. I'm a sucker for a root beer float. I do big fat root beer floats.
It's pretty that you know a good amount about your family's history, though.
Yeah, it's all based off of what I've been told. Yeah, and I try to retain as much of it as I can. My grandpa, my dad's dad, Joseph Edgar Jensen, Captain Dr. Joseph Edgar Jensen, because he was a doctor and he was in the Navy. captain's the second like highest rank before admiral.
Yeah.
So he was a historian. He was well read. He was the kind of guy that if I ever had like a history project growing up, he was the first person and the last person I would want to call. Because once you got him going on some like ancient Greek stuff, he's going to talk for an hour about the Battle of Thermopylae and then the geopolitical climate of, you know, the BC era. But yeah, I try to retain as much family history as I can.
Have you ever had a chance, since your grandpa was a historian, did he ever have a chance to like write any of this down and kind of have a written record of your family record?
I don't know about that. My uncle, my dad's brother, in recent years has been like looking into our genealogy and family records. There's like a family Bible that I think, I'm pretty sure it's on my dad's side. I know my mom's side, we have a family Bible that has like marriages and like deaths throughout the family, like all the way back to like the early 1800s. But I'm not sure if my grandpa like really wrote all the stuff down. That'd be a good thing to ask my dad about.
Yeah.
Cause it's important, you know?
Absolutely.
And like the older we get, you know, they say like, you know, you should talk to your grandparents about their lives and like their childhoods, you know, cause there's so much rich history from when they were kids and, you know, even their parents and their stories. I mean, isn't that what the podcast is about?
Absolutely.
Mike stories?
Yeah, Mike memories.
Mike memories.
Okay. So have you had a chance to talk to your grandparents on both sides about like what it was like for them growing up?
Honestly, I didn't do a good job of that when they were around. Yeah. Because right now, my only grandparent that's still with me is my dad's mom, my grandma Glow. Yeah. And, you know, she's getting up there. I think she just turned 93 this year or 94. Who's counting? Not me. I actually, on my birthday, she took, you know, me and my brothers and my girlfriend out to dinner, and I actually got to like talk to her about stuff that I had never known. You know, she was sharing things that I wasn't aware of, you know, whether or not it was all true, because she's, you know, kind of a little lucid. Lucid's not the term. Is it? Yeah, she's not always there. Yeah. But it's hard to tell sometimes what's real and what's not with my grandma.
Was there a story? You mentioned that there was a thing that surprised you. What was one of the biggest things that surprised you about like her stories?
Well, one of the stories she told me was that in the 80s, so like after my dad and all of his siblings moved out, she had just become so acclimated to being like a housewife and like, you know, being the matriarch of a house and like taking care of people and hosting people that, and she was also, you know, she's a classy lady and always loved the arts. She was a part of like a volunteer organization for Saddleback Community College theater arts program. So she would host parties at the house, the house my, you know, dad grew up in Laguna Niguel. She said she'd host like 500 people over that might be, you know, an exaggeration, but she would host these giant parties for the whole drama department of Saddleback College there. And she didn't have any ties to it as far as I know, other than that she appreciated the theater, and it was like a local theater program. And I went to Saddleback for a few years. I wasn't in the drama department, but I just thought that was really cool that my grandma, you know, took that upon herself to like host these like cast and crew parties at her home. And she said she made hundreds of sandwiches, which I was just like, she's putting the team on the back. Nice. And that's Gloria the goat.
It sounds like your grandma was pretty like in the arts. Do you think that's where you got like your passion for the arts?
No, not necessarily. I think I like discovered it on my own. Okay. We did go, you know, we did go see The Wizard of Oz a few times, the play. And I remember seeing that at Saddleback College. Might have seen it at the Segerstrom Center for the Arts in Costa Mesa. I don't know if it really came from her, but she appreciated like going to plays and stuff. That was up her alley. I think we went and saw The Lion King at the Pantages Theater when I was like in 4th grade with her. I kind of discovered it all mostly on my own.
Yeah.
As far as like music goes, that was, that came to me by just being exposed to it in elementary school through friends. My dad, he plays the ukulele and sings, and he was always like a singer-songwriter. Or not songwriter. He liked to sing. And if you can edit out the ums, because I realize I say a lot when I'm thinking and talking. I was exposed to like him playing acoustic guitar when I was like 6, 7. We'd go camping. I was in Indian Guides.
Yeah.
And some of my earliest memories of music, I guess in the sense, was being around a campfire with my dad, and he would be playing Puff the Magic Dragon and Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, and Margaritaville and Hotel California. Those were like the 4 songs he would play. And I always found like a lot of comfort in that. And every time I hear the song Puff the Magic Dragon, I always think of my dad now. But I guess that was kind of preemptively exposing me to music, because I didn't pick up the guitar until I was like 12. It's been 20 years now of being a musician.
Yeah. Dude, that's super sick, though. The fact that you were able to get exposed to music at a young age by your dad, and it sounds like you have some like really fond memories of him.
Yeah. It took a while for it to percolate, because at first I decided I wanted to be a monster truck driver.
No way.
Yeah. My dad took me to the Monster Jam when I was 6, and that changed my life. Seeing those monster trucks, seeing Gravedigger just destroy all the other trucks, it blew me away. It was also like terrifying too, because it was so loud, and it was one of the most exciting, terrifying things I ever seen. And I think that's why it left such an impact on me. And I decided I wanted that to be my career when I was in kindergarten. And I was like kind of like autistic about it, and just like only thing I talked about was monster trucks. I think that's why I had a hard time making friends early on in elementary school was my affinity for monster trucks. And then in 2nd grade, post 9/11, I was going through it and decided, I'm going to be an artist. And now that's what I do.
What were you going through? What do you mean, like with after post 9/11?
Oh, just 9/11 was just the
big thing that happened.
It was a big thing.
Yeah.
There's like a before 9/11 and after 9/11. Everything changed.
How did it change for you personally?
Just I think the world lost a lot of innocence.
Yeah, that's true.
Like going to an airport, never been the same.
How old are you when that happened again?
I was 7.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was also one of those things at the time when it happened, at that age, you don't really understand, like it's scary, and you don't really understand the implications of what this is.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't until, later on, middle school or high school, like that whole incident made a lot more sense and really showed how detrimental to society that whole incident and catastrophe was. But yeah, nothing out about 9/11.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Next year's going to be 25 years since it happened.
Seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, dude. I remember the first memory I have of that incident, my parents pulled me out of school and I was at home. Kind of somebody, I was like watching the TV as like things were happening, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. And someone in high school, like once, I'm like, oh, like that was what I would remember like happening, and that's why people were so scared that day.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it happening, like watching it on TV, and like I was probably downstairs, eating my cinnamon toast crunch before school because it was right when school started.
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
it was like second or third week of school. September 11th, and sitting in the living room and watching, like turning on the TV, and I think my grandparents called my mom or my grandma called my dad, and they were on the phone. Turn on the news, like plane just hit the World Trade Center, and like seeing on the news this building on fire, and being like, oh, like what's going on, and then seeing that other plane come and hit and being an explosion, and in that moment be like, oh my gosh. And like my parents' reaction, when you're a kid, especially around that age, you look to your parents for like, how should I act this way?
How should I react? Yeah.
I mean, I think my first reaction, I thought I was like watching a movie. Like this can't be real, but it was, and just like how horrified they were. And my grandparents, coming back to the grandparents thing, like they were on the phone just like witnessing, which is like a modern day Pearl Harbor, which Pearl Harbor Day is actually tomorrow.
Oh,
which is also my dad's birthday. Yeah, my dad's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Dad.
Since I remember you mentioned that your grandpa was in the Navy. Was he involved during any of the wars that were going on during his time in the Navy?
So he was in the Navy during Vietnam.
Okay.
But he was in the Seabees, the fighting Seabees, but he wasn't in any sort of combat. He was on a base in the Philippines. So he was an orthopedic surgeon. So he would handle people when they had broken bones.
Okay.
So I think he did get people from, action in Vietnam potentially.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those things I wish I had more conversations with my grandpa about. I should talk to my dad about it, or my grandma. But yeah, my dad lived in the Philippines for a couple years when he was a kid on the Navy base there.
Is that how your grandpa met your grandma?
No, they met in a hospital because my grandma was a nurse.
In the Philippines or out here?
No, out here.
Okay.
So I think it might have been medical school, or I think they both, got a job in the same hospital. But they met in a hospital, and then they got married, and then
that's kind of cute.
And then, my mom's family, the way they met is actually funnier and weird. In both hospital situations.
Oh, no way.
On both grandparents' side. On my mom's side, my grandpa Jim, he fell down an elevator shaft.
What?
Yeah, he went to go into an elevator and pressed the button, I guess, and it opened. And I don't know, he wasn't paying attention or something, or it was under construction, and fell into an elevator shaft and fell like 20 or 30 feet. And
what?
Thankfully, someone found him, so he didn't get crushed by an elevator.
He survived?
Yeah.
Holy.
He woke up in the hospital, and the head nurse that was taking care of him was my grandma.
Dude, that's super cute.
Yeah.
It looks like a fairy tale.
Yeah. And apparently my grandpa was a total bitch. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say.
Yeah, my grandma was a bitch to him. And he was like in love with her at first sight. And I think he like was harassing her to like go on a date with him for a long time. And she was just like, no, and denying. And finally, I guess he was so persistent that she went on a date with him. And here I am.
I mean, it makes sense because he's like in the hospital bedridden, like he can't go anywhere. She has to take care of him.
I went to the hospital once when my appendix was gonna blow up inside of me, and I remember like the nurses, like if they were cute, I was like, "Oh, you're taking care of me, lady. You're an angel. I must be in heaven." Yeah, there's and all the drugs you're on. You're on painkillers. Yeah.
That's super cute that they both met now. So for your grandpa and grandma was a nurse with Grandma Glow?
Grandma Glow was a nurse who married my Grandpa Joe on my dad's side.
Was your grandpa like operating and then he was like scalpel and then she gave it him and then it was like love at first touch?
I don't know. I like that one. We'll use that one if I never get the real story. My grandma was talking about it literally, 2 months ago at my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
How she met my grandpa. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that on both sides,
It's
hospital situation.
Yeah.
My grandpa, my mom's dad, he wasn't a doctor, but lots of nurses in my family on both sides.
Nice.
Multiple aunts that are nurses.
Do you think it was like a thing that was passed down from your grandparents? Like they all kind of, like your uncles and aunts all saw how your grandparents were acting, and then like, oh, that's cool for me to do as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think like, you know, I know a lot of women that have become nurses, and I think it's like biologically, you know, it's like the what is it, the maternal sense to be a nurse. And I think especially back in the day, like, you know, the workforce didn't, cater a lot of job positions to females. And it was kind of like, well, if I want to have a job, it's like I can be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of your few options.
Yeah.
So I think there was that that led to it. I mean, none of my dad didn't become a doctor, and none of my uncles became doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we broke that chain. But yeah, I mean, nursing is not easy. There's no way I could do that. I think like being a nurse is probably one of the hardest jobs out there because you're doing dirty work and you're dealing with people that are, you know, in pain or they're crazy or they're dying. It's not a glamorous job by any means. So, you know, it takes a lot to do that.
Yeah. So you see some of the worst in people and some of the worst things that can happen to people.
Oh, yeah. But then also at the same time, like there's got to be like rewarding moments. Like, you know, children are brought into the world and like saving people and, you know, out of all that negative stuff that you can experience in the medical field, there's definitely like the positive rewards.
So jumping to your parents, I know you mentioned that so I'm assuming that your grandparents were both living in Southern California.
No.
Okay.
Like on which side are you asking about?
Your mom's side, they lived in Laguna Niguel.
No, they were in New York.
Oh.
So my mom's originally from upstate New York, Syracuse.
Okay. Nice.
And my grandpa Joe, I actually don't know where he was born in Hawaii. My grandpa lived on the Big Island of Hawaii. And yeah, like during World War II, he was living on a sugar plantation in Hawaii. My parents actually went and stayed at an Airbnb on the sugar plantation he grew up in. But my grandma, she's from Canada. She's from Montreal, Canada.
Dang, your family's really like explored or well traveled.
I guess so. She's adopted too. So we don't know. Well, we do now because she got a 23andMe test, and she's like almost 100% Irish.
Nice.
Go figure. But yeah, she was in Montreal, Canada, and then she came over, and I forget where they met. I think they met on the East Coast. My dad was born in Oakland, California. So like somehow they got out here. My dad's family, they lived in Oakland. They lived in Hawaii. My dad lived in Hawaii, lived in the Philippines, Rhode Island, Georgia.
A military life.
Yeah. All over the place.
Yeah. Dang, that's pretty sick. And then your mom's side, your mom's side was, okay.
And they were in New York?
Yes, New York. And then they made their way to Oakland.
No. That's my dad was born in Oakland.
Dad, okay, go.
So dad's side of the family, home base is technically California.
Yeah.
It has been since the late 60s. 1969, they moved to Laguna Beach.
Okay.
And they stayed in Southern California from then on.
Gotcha.
Like the first 10 years of my dad's life, they were moving all over. And then my grandpa retired from the Navy and settled in Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach. My mom's side of the family, upstate New York.
There we go. Okay, there we go.
And then when my mom was 16 years old, so like halfway through high school, moved to New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. So New York to New Mexico. And my mom went to high school in Albuquerque, half of it. And then she ended up going to Arizona State, Phoenix.
Sun Devils.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
And then she wound up out in Lake Forest.
Dang, dude.
You know, once she was working for Black & Decker selling spray paint to hardware stores around the United States.
That's pretty wild, like how different areas your grandparents were living in to your parents to be able to meet in SoCal.
That is kind of crazy. Yeah, both on separate sides of the country, both from like completely separate kind of like lifestyles. You know, my mom came from, lower, I don't want to say lower class, but like, you know, and I don't want to say poor, but, you know, completely different lifestyle than my dad's side of the family. You know, my dad, and both 5 kids on both sides. And they, you know, eventually met at a Catholic singles group.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my parents met at a Catholic singles group. It's it's just funny because they were both doing like completely opposite things in their lives as well. Like my parents' personalities like work so well together. You know, growing up seeing how they are, and I would say like I'm the best of both worlds, and sometimes the worst. But I'm a lot like my mom. And where was I going with that? Oh, my mom was climbing up the corporate ladder. My dad was sailing around the world on a professional sailboat racing team.
What the heck?
So my dad was like living his like dream. Yeah. You know, goes to USC, gets college paid for by my grandpa, goes to USC. Gets a business degree, doesn't really know but he just wants to sail. He's in like a fraternity. And basically, like when you're on a sailboat racing team, it's just like a fraternity, even more so. Now you're just like sailing across the Pacific Ocean to Hong Kong or Hawaii. So my dad was doing that, and my mom is like going around the United States, just cranking spray paint to hardware stores, to Home Depot, Home Base. You remember that one? Yeah. Lowe's wasn't a thing yet, but yeah, I think they got to their, you know, they turned 30. But how old are they now? I guess they would have been like 35.
They made 30s then.
Yeah. Right?
Damn, so they came from very opposite worlds because your dad was a little more well off and he was able to fortunately like go sail and kind of do his own thing. Yeah. Whereas your mom was kind of like trying to build up a foundation and get established because of how she grew up.
Exactly.
So very different lifestyles.
My mom came from the like, I have to grind, and got where she was by grinding. And my dad more or less kind of had, you know, a charmed like upbringing. And like he's thankful for it, of course. But just the two ends of the spectrum on opposite sides of the country meeting. And then, you know, my mom ended up like being like the main breadwinner when she was working. Like the house my parents live in, like my mom, you know, claims she paid for it, and I believe it. But my mom's like, she's a businesswoman, you know, through and through. She's very money savvy and money oriented and handles things, great at planning, very managerial admin oriented is my mom. Okay. And my dad's more of the like executioner of tasks. my dad is her handyman. That's funny. And just the worker.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned at the very beginning that you're a lot like your mom. Is it because you are very like driven and want to like just succeed in doing what you want? Because I know you're also like very creative, and you're also very, because your job is graphic designing. And so it sounds like more like your dad, but you're grinding and pushing like your mom.
Is that a dog out here?
Yeah, we're out in the backyard. I know where he's at.
There's a junkyard dog somewhere barking. So it's funny you say that, because I've thought about this a lot. I do have a lot of drive, but my drive is kind of in like a very passionate end of things. Like I'm driven to do things that I want to do, which is similar to like my dad. My dad wanted to sail. I wanted to play music, and I wanted to be in a rock band. I wanted to be a rock star. So I've been like pursuing that for 10 plus years now as like a passion. And, I'm, blessed to be able to say I do play music and draw essentially for a living. Like that's my, I don't have an actual job. I am my own boss and I just go and do my thing. But I am driven in the sense of like how my mom is, but in the kind of like selfish passion, like lazy party boy sense of, wanting to do what I like. But I don't like planning stuff. That's where I'm bad at that. I suck at that. Or actually, I'm probably not that bad at it. I just don't like doing it because I've had just bad experiences of having to handle that, like with my band, where I guess I just have PTSD of having to organize things and having to deal with people's schedules and, the potential for people to say no or ruin the plans. Mm-hmm. I hate that. And I'm not necessarily like a money-minded person or a numbers person. I guess I have the personality though for like business. My mom always said like I'd be great at business, but I just hate being told no though, which like that's 90% of business is being told no. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to not let that affect you. And like that affects me. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's why I'm an artist, because I'm a sensitive artist. But yeah, like I think I have the best of both worlds from them.
It sounds like it.
Like I've been able to do what I want to do and like make it work. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not glamorous. If you want to, have a really good career, don't be a musician. But you have to be really good. You can do it, but you're going to have to be really, really good. And there also I swear you need some level of nepotism to make it work. Mm-hmm. So what were you going to say?
I was going to ask, like, I know you mentioned that you are kind of like the band manager. How many bands have you like been a part of or managed throughout the time that you've been really playing instruments?
Well,
number 2, hell yeah.
Yeah. Today's podcast is sponsored by Coors Banquet. It's the Colorado Kool-Aid.
Cheers, brother. It's a spot right there.
Tastes like the Rocky Mountains. But I guess, and this is where I think, relate to my mom. I kind of naturally have been a leader of the bands that I have started, just because like from the start, I was like, I want to play music and I just I want to do it so I can play music. Mm-hmm. And someone needs to like organize this and someone needs to make it happen. Someone needs to sing. The only reason I'm a singer is because the first band I ever played in, I guess it was like the second iteration of Red Riot, which was my band. First band I was in 7th grade.
Red Riot?
Red Riot. Okay. Not Red Rocket. Shouts out Jeff Sinclair, Steve Evanson, Matt Aguilera, and Billy Rehard. We played one show at Jeff Sinclair's 13th birthday party. Mm-hmm. And that was the most exciting thing ever. That was like where I really got a taste for like, oh, I want to perform, in a band. Was playing in Jeff Sinclair's garage. We did Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. We did Woman by Wolfmother. And what else did we do? We did 2 originals. Rebellion was one of our songs. And then Sweet Love was another one of our songs that our bass player / singer, or no, he wasn't the bass player at the time. He was just the singer. It was about his girlfriend, Kaylee Rios. They kissed a couple times. But yeah, that fell apart. And then I had to recoup a new version of that band throughout high school. That was kind of like my garage band I played with my friends. Steve was in it. Our friend Austin Moss was in it. And Billy Rehard was our drummer. And we just played in the garage throughout high school. And I guess I chose most of the songs at the time, and most of them were just like Sublime songs. Green Day. We did Green Day, Sublime, Offspring, Social Distortion. That was like the songs we were playing. And that was 3 Men and a Baby. We played at my high school graduation. I organized it. We played Float On by Modest Mouse at my graduation. And that was, to this day, people that, were in my class or who were there, if they see me, that's like what they remember about me. Even though I was like really involved in high school and had a colorful experience. But what are you going to say?
I was going to ask, take me through like what it's like to like get on stage, like plug in your amp and just kind of see into the crowd. Like what do you feel?
It's a high.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I think it depends person to person. But for me, like, when I get up there, it really depends on the crowd's reaction, for sure. I feed off of the crowd. And if the crowd is having a good time, I'm having a great time. If they're not having a good time, I feel awkward, and that's when like I might be like a little insecure, or that's when I start just like saying dumb shit in the mic to just like get a reaction. And then it's like, oh, is this a comedy routine? And that's when people start going, oh, he's Jack Black. You guys know how to do any Tenacious D? Can you guys play Tenacious D? And I go, sorry, sir, we do not do Tenacious D. Believe it or not. But yeah, for me, it's like the most fun thing in the world. And, if there's a crowd that is into it, like the fact that you're creating an energy that people are taking and eating it and getting excited about it. Like you're curating a good time, and yeah, it's like getting high. Like after a performance, like after an awesome performance, a great show, like I'll be in such a good mood after the show, and even like into the next day. It's this high. It's the endorphins.
You crave it.
Oh yeah, like once you get a taste of like performing, and like if it's for you, you get a little taste of that, and you'll know. I think it actually like started before the current band I play in, which is like the one I essentially manage and run. It's like my band, Tunnels. Tunnels, check us out. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. But I did some theater in high school. I was Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
Yeah, the studly douche. And then I was also Zeus in the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey.
No way, dude.
Yeah. So I had 2 experiences of doing theater, and that was a really good experience for me to get comfortable performing in front of people, because it was when I did Beauty and the Beast, that was my first time doing any sort of acting, so it was very like new. And I was kind of nervous going into it, but I was like, you know what, like, let's try everything and see, what's up. My dad pushed me to try out for the musical, because all the kids that were in the drama program at my high school were like, Eric, we're doing Beauty and the Beast. You need to audition. And I'm like, yeah, like, sure. Like, we want you to be Gaston. You'd be perfect for it. Like, you have to do it. And I was kind of like, oh, yeah, like maybe. Like, already doing a bunch of other things. And then my dad said, you got to do it. Like, I did it in high school. And my dad was a football player. He was an offensive lineman, like all county lineman at Dana Hills High School. He told me, I did theater my senior year of high school, and it was the most fun I ever had. And I think you should do it. And I went, okay, I'll go try it. And I went and did it, and it was the most fun I had in high school. And that, because again, this is my first time doing any sort of acting, getting up in front of a giant crowd of people who you can all see them, and they're all in there looking at you. That, like, and when you get a good reaction from that, I remember just feeling that high. Like the first time it was kind of like, ooh. And then the second time, okay. And by the end of it, we did like 8 shows. I was like, oh, I love this. This is this is what I want to do. I want to perform. I mean, I haven't done any theater since high school. I've just been so busy doing all the other stuff. But every time I get up on stage, you know, when I go play music, it's a performance and it fulfills that same kind of experience.
Yeah.
And that need or that high I look for.
Mm-hmm. Dude, so it sounds like your first real performance in the band was in your friend's garage. And your first like real like performance in front of a crowd was like a large crowd was in theater.
I would say that was the biggest crowd because I played when I was a sophomore, like freshman, sophomore in high school. I played in this band that I was in for like a minute because I got kicked out because my dad was like essentially assaulting kids at the shows in the mosh pit. That's a fun.
Your dad was moshing?
No, he was trying to stop the moshing. Because my family went to these shows and they were at like Chain Reaction.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
I played 2 shows. One was at Chain Reaction in Anaheim, and one was at the Norman P. Murray Center in Mission Viejo, which is like a community center where like old people go play bingo. But the first one was at Chain Reaction, and it was like a pay-to-play thing. And all my friends came. They all bought my tickets, and my mom and dad and brothers came. And my brothers were like, you know, one of my brothers would have been like 7 or 8 at this point. But they're standing in the crowd, like towards the front, and kids start moshing and like doing the windmills and shit. And my dad, you know, he's a big guy. He's not as tall as me, but he's like way more stocky than me. Mm. He said, "Hey, cut that out." And, you know, the person didn't stop doing it. And I guess at that point he grabbed him and like bounced him out. Like got him out there. And all my friends were like, "Oh my God, did you see Eric's dad?" You know, my friend Iman talks about that every so often. He was there. He's like, "Dude." And then the same thing happened at the next gig. And my dad wasn't like trying to hurt anyone. He was just like try't to protect his family, dad, and like told them like cut that shit out, and they didn't listen. And my dad moved him out. It wasn't like he punched him. He was just like grabbed him. But it happened again at the Norman P. Murray Center. I remember we were in the middle of a song, and I saw everyone in the room run out while we were playing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "What's going on?" And we kept going. And then at the end, my friend Iman Kim was like, "Dude, EJ, your dad lifted this kid up like and just walked him out."
That's pretty sick, though.
Yeah, that's my Persian accent. That's my Iman accent. "Dude, EJ."
Sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I guess a little bit. That's the Imanator.
Bro, that's so funny that your dad's like lifting people. But it's also like he's keeping his wife and kids safe.
Yeah, that's what the motivation was. My dad's not a mosher. Yeah, it was just, you know, it was if one of those things I said like, "Dad, maybe like you guys have to just like move so you don't get close to that." And my dad's like, "No, we shouldn't have to change where we want to stand for these people." Mm-hmm. You know,
it sounds sick that your family was always like very supportive of you, though.
Yeah, I think after that they stopped wanting to come to the shows. Yeah, they've been supportive to a certain extent,
to a degree,
without throwing anyone under the bus. Yeah, I'm thankful I have been able to do it and gotten support. You know, I have gotten. You know, I think just to being brought up where I've been brought up, and, you know, what my parents have sacrificed, I'm very grateful for, you know, because I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have the opportunity and the blessings that I did have growing up, you know, because it's easy to like look at other people and like, you know, the guitar player in my band, Billy, he is an incredible guitar player, and he's, you know, an only child. And his mom and his dad are his biggest fans. And his mom and dad come to all of our shows. You know, they're the parents that are out of all the bandmates. You know, they come to all the shows. And, you know, like Billy gets embarrassed by them. You know, and I understand, like, his mom's funny. Yeah. She brings her dogs to the gigs.
That's sick.
Yeah, she brings the perros to the gig. She's from Argentina. Pachila Terca, and her son Piji or Pollito. But she,
Does that mean chicken in Spanish?
It does. Yeah, Pollito. Because apparently he looked like a little chicken when he was a kid. So she called him her Pollito. But yeah, God bless Pachila Terca. She's an awesome chain smoking queen. But I always would tell Billy, like, you should like appreciate that as much as you can. The fact that they're there at every show they can be at. I can't say the same. But like they're your biggest fans. And that's a special thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was supported in different ways, and I was supported in the fact that I think like a lot of my art career, I think that I was, I went to some like art lessons growing up. My parents paid for multiple like painting and art lessons, and I think by the time music came around for me, it was like, oh, here's another thing, Yeah. here's a new because it took over when I wanted to do music. They did buy me like my first really good guitar. That was my Epiphone Les Paul. But yeah, I think support comes in all kind of forms. I think just letting someone do something and hearing them out,
mm-hmm.
Is really important.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to like music and stuff, like I'm always like talking about that with my dad, and he does a really good job of like, oh yeah, and like engaging with it and responding to it. And I think just being heard in that format is really important.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to ask you, so whenever because you play the guitar and bass, and what else?
I could play a little keys. I could play ukulele. I could give me a few hours of the banjo and I could pull it off. But yeah, that's about it. Mostly the stringed formatted instruments. Is
there a place that you really want to perform at? Like eventually, like what's your overall goal to be able to perform at a certain stage?
I always say like if I could play at the Hollywood Bowl, like then I'm like, all right, like we did something.
You made it.
Yeah. Or Madison Square Garden. But I've been asked this question before, and I would just say Hollywood Bowl because like that's the best venue in California.
Yeah,
I would say.
No worries. When it comes to like playing guitar, I've talked to my friends that also play, and they always like you just like are able to find a song that you really just vibe with. Like it speaks to who you are because you play it so well, and it's like yeah, go for it. Like it's like waking up at that point. Like you're just like playing it, and like you don't even have to like your body just knows how to move its fingers. Is there a song that you just like? You don't have to think about playing it. You just like you play it.
That's a really hard question.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot. I mean, it's definitely something that I wrote if it's a song that I just don't really have to think about. Because I feel like I spend most of my time playing music now where I'm just noodling, doing my own thing and coming up with stuff on the spot. So like that's when I actually feel the best is when I'm just like grooving and channeling stuff.
Yeah.
I'm at that point in my life where I'm like just channeling what I feel in the moment and like no pressure to like do anything one way. Just whatever comes out in that moment is when I am like waking up. That's when I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
Is when I'm just like flowing. And you probably have seen it in there a little bit. Like, my band itself, like Tunnels, has become a jam band in that sense. 90% of the songs, if not more, I've like written and had the structure figured out all on my own, and I bring it to the guys, and I'm like, here's the song, here's the format, but like The most fun that I've had, though, is when I have something that's a little more open-ended and like even more bare bones and hasn't really been fleshed out, and letting it turn into something, just giving cues. You know, I like to treat the music almost like I'm a director and like a screenwriter, and being like, here's the story. Like this is how I convey it. You can, ask my bandmates. I like think of it like a movie, and I'm like, this is like if there was a music video, this is what the music video is. And when you keep looking over there, who's over there? I think of each song as like its own movie and what the music video would be. What is the story? I think of songs as you're telling a story, like from the first verse to the last verse. And most of my songs are like 3 verses. So I think of like exposition, development, resolution. And I like bringing just the bare bones of that to a group of really talented people, like the guys in my band, and just being like, okay, you're driving down the road in your friend's minivan, you're listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival, it's foggy outside, and you're about to go do mushrooms with your boys out in freaking Mars, Sedona, Arizona, and you're a little scared. What does that sound like? And going, here's the chord progressions, here's the riff I do. What's that feel like to you? Because music is such a feeling thing. Yeah. I always say I'm dealing in the feeling and I'm giving notions of emotion. I'm an ocean of notion and emotion, and my hands need lotion. And I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. But yeah, I treat it as like a big feeling thing, the vibe. And that's also like when you're able to, it's a group, music's a group experience. And that's why I'm not a huge EDM person, because usually EDM is one person like controlling a computer. Whereas like when you see a live band, you're seeing a group of people creating all the noise that you're hearing and the vibrations all synchronized with each other, having a conversation and doing a dance. And you getting to experience that, and especially if they're able to invite you in as well, if it becomes a group thing, like that's power right there. That's magic. Damn. Sorry, I go on a lot of rants.
No, that was not a rant. That was poetry in motion. Like the way you're describing it, I was like, I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel it.
And when you see a band, I'll say artist, and I don't want to completely shit on EDM, because I think there's times and ways where it is like a cool art form and there is group effort involved. But I think EDM is more about like making the audience have a good time. The people are going to be dancing at an EDM show. Whereas when you go see a really awesome band, you might not have people dancing. You might have people just standing there because they're like watching it, But like what I was getting at before I went on that little tangent is like when you see a band or an artist that really is into it and enjoying it and playing like in a group and like having a good time themselves, that's when you're getting the best performance. And that energy is always so incredible, and it translates to the audience. There's a few bands I've seen that have made me feel that way. One is Arcade Fire. When I saw them at Coachella in 2014, you could tell they loved what they were doing. They were having a great time and happy to be there and living their dreams. The other band that every time I seen them, it felt like that too, was Dr. Dog. Those guys, they do it for the music, and they have such devout fans, which again translates to them and their energy. But that show was always, anytime I saw Dr. Dog, it was always such a feel-good time. Everyone is having an amazing time. Everyone's singing all the songs. Everyone knows the music. They take requests at the end after playing for an hour and a half or however long they play. They go, what do you guys want to hear us play? And everyone's shouting out different songs. And they're like, okay, we can do that. Or, oh, that's not in our repertoire. But usually they have so many songs that they can play. But anyways, Dr. Dog, Arcade Fire, Dead and Company. That's like the jam band thing. And then King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Okay, I heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah, like those guys, especially right now, they're living my dream. It's 5 or 6 best friends up there playing music, traveling the world, playing music, and people are eating their shit up, and people are having, you know, such a great time at their shows. Like, you could tell, and they're so thankful. They're always like, "We love you guys. Like, this is incredible. We can't believe we're here, like, doing this." You know, and you feel that, like, that humbleness. You know, they're like they are so stoked to be able to do this, and like when you see an artist that has that, you really root for them more, and you're really like, God, like, they're so cool. I love them. Like, I'm one of their people. You know, I'm getting a little teary eyed just thinking about and talking about it. But that's, I don't know where I'm going with a lot of the stuff, Marvin. Again,
no, dude,
I talk a lot.
No, like I get exactly what you're saying. It's like when you can, like, as someone watching the performance, when you see the joy, the passion, and just like the just pure love of what they're doing, you connect with them on a deeper level.
Yeah. And I think I relate to that because, like, that's what I want to be doing. And that's what I get. And so when I see someone doing it and they're genuinely, like, so thankful and grateful to do it on, you know, I'm like, I see you, like, and I'm here for it. And I feel like a lot of the artists that do get all the fame and all the wealth don't have that, you know, or they lose it, you know, it gets lost to the sauce in the machine. And like, I mean, I always talk about Kevin Parker and Tame Impala, and I do like Tame Impala. For the record, I am a Tame Impala fan. But like, I think there's a point where it stops being Tame Impala, and that's after Currents. You know, I think the Slow Rush was the turning point in his career where it really became like lazy, and maybe it became more about trying to sound like other EDM or pop music that's being put out now. But that's when I was like, yeah, I'm not into this. And then the most recent one, it's like, it took 5 years to make that Tired Ableton Loop album. There are some good songs on it though, but that are catchy. But if the production just became more involved and more of that old school Tame Impala charm, I'd be able to get behind it a little more. But I just feel like the OG fans might be getting, you know, marginalized, and maybe I'm bitter about that. But yeah, there's just don't lose that joy and that spark. You know, why'd you start doing it in the first place? That's something that I always have to remind, you know, my brother Cy Sharp, who plays in my band. His music is his job. He teaches music and he plays gigs, and that's how he makes all of his money, you know? And I always have to remind him if it's ever like stressful or, you know, we're doing something that's kind of a stupid gig or some sort of thing. We're like, why are we doing this? I always say, like, remember why you started doing this. It's not because your grandma would hit you if you didn't do it. It's because you love music, you know, and we're blessed to be able to do it, you know, blessed to be the merrymakers and the sound chasers for other people.
Yeah. Dude, it's like the way you talk about music is how people that are passionate about what they do should talk about their things. Because like, you're very like, you're not ranting, like you're passionate, you care, you're explaining the feeling. Like as you're talking about it, I'm like, I feel the excitement from your voice.
Yeah, and I do think, like, I think everyone has to have something that they are passionate about.
Absolutely.
Something that they would, like, if they didn't have it in their life would be hollow or almost meaningless.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind when I meet people and I go, like, what are you passionate about? Do you have a passion? Like, what, like, if there was something you could do every day for the rest of your life, no questions asked, you're taken care of, you know, like money aside, you could do this every day. What would that be? That would bring you joy and essentially make the world a better place too. You know, like you're contributing something positive. Like, what is that? And it blows my mind that there's people out there that don't have that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, like, how you can go through life and not have that. But there's people, it's like, no, I don't know. And you just feel like you're meaning like a lost. I feel like I'm meaning a lost soul. So I tell people, like, if there's anything you're interested in, try it, because you might like really like it. And maybe not drugs, but the government told you should do drugs, so do drugs. That's a famous Rick line. I'm getting hit by that edible right about now. Where's that dog? It sounds like the dog's
I don't even
right
know.
here.
Yeah, these mics pick them up really well. Actually, I don't know what's that.
Oh, it's right over there.
Oh, it's behind me?
Next to the Winnebago.
Oh, okay.
It's a Winnebago Dango.
All right, my dude. Well, we are getting close to the very end, and so I do want to give you a chance. So I can mention the very beginning. My podcast is called Mike Memories.
Mike Memories?
And so I always ask my guests at the very end, what is one memory that you want to make sure is recorded? It can be a memory that's whenever you see this podcast, you remember, oh yeah, I talked about this. Or it can be a lesson, or it can be something you want to make sure is preserved so that future generations have a chance to hear it. It can be any memory that you want, but you want to make sure that it's preserved.
Man. Whew. That dog's bark for sure. I think hanging out with good people, and if you're ever doubting doing something, weigh the pros and cons. Like coming here, yesterday I almost didn't come. I wasn't feeling that great yesterday. And I was like, half of me really wants to go because I want to come hang out with these guys, want to hang out with you, want to play music, like do what I love to do, what I just talked about for however long we've been doing this. But like, I kind of like want to just stay at home, like not do anything and not have the pressure and not commit to driving to Joshua Tree and staying in a house with 8 other dudes who I've hung out with, one other time. And I had a great time. But I had to go. If I don't go, I'm going to regret not going. And if I really am if I'm having a bad time, I can always leave. Mm-hmm. But I'm probably not going to have a bad time. I'm probably going to go there and be stoked I went, which I am. So if you're ever doubting yourself, think about it like that. If it's something you really want to do, you can go. And if it's not meeting your expectations, you can always say, I tried, and maybe it's not for me. Mm-hmm. So maybe treat life like that. If there's something that has the potential to make you happy, try it. The worst that can happen is it doesn't, and now you know. Mm-hmm. And you can just go back home and watch Netflix. So in the moment, that's what I want to be preserved. Is that acceptable? Is
Absolutely.
That a good one?
It's your memory.
You like that one?
I like that a lot. It's absolutely correct that you should try and give it a shot.
Try it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I do is all based off of trying something. Yeah. So I guess that's everyone.
Mm-hmm. And some people don't try it because they're too scared.
Don't deny it until you try it. Yeah. Tartar sauce is good. And if you ever order fish and chips without tartar sauce, I don't trust you. There you go.
I love that, buddy.
Cheers, Marvin.
Cheers, Eric.
I have a question for you.
What's up? Falling into my seat.
What do you do? What's your passion besides this?
I'm going to pause real quick and use the restroom real quick.
Okay. Pause. So, what are you passionate about, Marvin, besides telling stories into the microphone?
That's actually really a funny question you ask because I'm still trying to figure out what it is because I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about learning people's stories. I'm passionate about making the world a better place. I'm passionate about trying new things. I'm passionate about traveling. There's just so many things that are out there. And it's actually like a huge hindrance for me because I don't know what it is that I want to pursue. But kind of like what you're saying, I'm trying everything that I can right now to explore that and see what it is that I want to pursue in the long run. Because when I was a little kid, my passion was to become like mayor of my town and help make the city a better place.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like, that was my passion for a hot minute. And then I was barking. And then I don't know if you know this, but I was actually a student body president at my university. And so when I was president, I got exposed to a world of politics where it made me realize that I don't really want to go into politics, but I still want to help people. And so now I'm kind of just like trying to see what I'm able to do. And my passion is just try whatever I can and just live life to the fullest, because you got one life to live and the life is yours. And if you don't live it, who will live it for you?
That's very true. I like that. And I think, there's so many different ways to help people and get to know people. And this is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I see you in there, just vibing with us and like supporting us playing the music like that right there. Like you're involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
You're the people that are like vibing off it. Like I see you and I'm like, oh, Marvin's getting down to this. Like you're giving me that kind of energy that I'm like, hell yeah.
Bro, you make it easy, because it's like, how can I not vibe to this? Like, how can I be happy when like I'm with the boys, we're all vibing, having a good time. There's some freaking amazing music. Like last night when it was just me, you, and Jesse, and you guys just like playing music, I literally had tears in my eyes, and I'm like, this is what life is about.
Yeah,
living in the moment, appreciating the fact that we're here right now, and be able to enjoy it. And I've never met Jesse before.
Same.
And I met you once, and I'm like, this is what like these are the boys I want to be around.
Yeah, they're. I can imagine what it's like for you. Like because being surrounded by like a bunch of musicians is, at that point it happens to be a lot, but like, kind of seeing it through the eyes of being like, well, how are they doing this? And like, they're just sitting there, I can imagine like what that is like and how it would be a magical thing to experience.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesse is super talented.
Yeah.
You should talk to him.
I want to eventually after this. Yeah.
He has a beautiful voice.
Dude, it was so funny because like you were like also starstruck. Like what the like this guy's just like doing like what?
Like I said, I was trying to tell him like I'm playing music all the time. I play a lot of gigs. I go to a lot of shows. I see musicians, all walks of life and all different talents. And when I heard him, I was like, it stopped me, and I literally had like a tear in my eye, made me tear up. I was just like so moved by it, and I thought, man, like he needs to do this because people, it resonate with people. It obviously resonated with us, and like, he needs to do it,
bro. But even you, like you remember when I last year we were at the last location for our wellness retreat. When you brought out like your 12-string guitar and you just like singing with, a very fond memory of mine is like we were around the fire. It was me, you, Leo, Nick, and I think Devin was there as well. And you're just jamming out, and we're just like feeling the fire, like feeling the warmth of the fire, and then feeling the warmth of your voice. Like it was so hard to not feel like bliss. Like that's the best way, like feeling bliss of like, there's beauty in the air with the voice being sang. There's beauty around us. There's harmony, like in the fire. Like we feel warm and relaxed. And here we're being serenaded by this guy that's just singing to us. Like there's just so much beauty in that. Like that, those type of experiences to me are priceless.
See, and that's just another day for me,
bro. No, like that's like priceless to me.
Yeah, I'm the guy that would show up to a party with an acoustic guitar, show up to a camping trip, with an acoustic guitar, go to the beach with one, especially that 12-string. The 12-string, whenever I play that, people always stop and go, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool! Like it's so pretty, the 12-string." So sorry I didn't bring it this trip. It's like an 11-string right now. It's missing a string, and my dad's my guitar tech, so he needs to help me turn it back into a 12-string. But I'm like stoked that I was able to give you that. It was amazing moment.
I talk about you all the time to like my girlfriend and my friends. I'm like, yeah, like Eric, and they've never met you, but I was like, this dude literally just pulled up and just like changed the trajectory of like, because I know all the boys here, but like you left such like a lasting impact on that trip for me personally, because I was like, I have never met someone that just came in so joyous and just so happy to be there and just so passionate to be able to play music. And like, you didn't even have to like, I didn't think you had to try hard because it seems so natural to you.
Yeah, I guess I am like a people person, and my girlfriend calls me the mayor, because wherever I go, I make friends, and I try to I like to make people happy. I like to make people laugh. I like to have, that's another thing I get high off of. That's something I should try doing, stand-up comedy.
Oh, yeah,
because like when I walked in last night, like it was such an awesome feeling walking into like all you guys being so excited to see me.
Dude, yeah.
And like, believe it or not, I don't get that kind of like welcoming all the time from people I see all the time. But like just walking in and just, I said some dumb shit and you guys are all laughing like the funniest thing you ever heard. And I'm like, this is a good crowd tonight. Like that, like I felt good. I felt really welcomed and everyone was just like, and then Jesse walks up. He's like, hey man, like I've heard so much about you today. So that means a lot to me that I had that, an impact on you from that trip. Cause I felt like I was one of the boys, even though, it was my first time meeting you, Leo, Jordan, Percy, Kyle. Yeah. I think that's all the boys that was my first time meeting. And like, I felt like because I knew Nick and David and Devin and, Chris and Ewan, I felt like, okay, they're going to be really similar and they're going to be fun, chill guys. And if I'm just myself, which is fun, chill, wild, crazy guy, like that, no problem. Like I don't have any reservations.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's, if I can give another lesson, it's like, be exactly who you are and be it to the 10th degree, because that's really what matters is being around people. Like you don't want to be around people that if they think you're weird for being yourself, why, So I have a philosophy, especially nowadays, like, and I did this with my girlfriend, Miranda. I was like, I'm going to be so myself that like, if she doesn't like it, then I don't want to be with her.
Yeah.
But thank God she liked it. And I liked her a lot. And I might love her a little bit. I love her. I mean, Randy, if you watch this, you got to just be yourself.
Yeah.
And, if you really are, we know it. I guess there's a fine line between being super rude and being an I guess we'll do the same thing. But yeah, I guess what we've learned is just really appreciate the moment and enjoy those moments and be open.
Yeah.
Being open and being honest.
Absolutely.
Being open and being honest with yourself and those around you. And so I appreciate that from you. Like you've shared all that with me. So if I could say one thing to you is go be the mayor, because it's a fun job.
Yeah, maybe one day. I had thought about it, about going back into politics and kind of just like exploring that, especially with just wanting to help people. Maybe down the road, but right now I definitely want to keep exploring, kind of seeing the world for what it is and just kind of seeing like the beauty in it, because you hear about how much it sucks sometimes, but there's also so much out there that makes the world and life just so beautiful and so meaningful. Yeah,
we're being sold all the negative stuff because it's what people are drawn to. Yeah, it's important to not lose hope too, and be optimistic and like almost not expect people to be bad, but just like be optimistic that people are still like, they're still good and they're still, be pleasantly surprised by people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're trained to not feel that way. But yeah. How long have we gone? Where are we at now?
About an hour 17.
How long do you usually go with these?
Depends on however you want to go. Like it just depends. Like usually it's like the minimum of like an hour, and then I've had people like speak for like 3 hours. I've had people stop at like 50 minutes. Yeah, because everyone, like I said, everyone has a story to share.
What do you like doing?
Whatever my guest likes. I'm chilling.
I mean, do you want me to keep going? Do you want me to keep telling you stuff, or do you have more questions?
No, I mean, it's really up to you, because I want to give you the platform to share your stories and share your memories. Because
do the guests usually ask you questions too, or do the people know anything about you?
Yeah, I mean, they ask, like, my guests have asked me questions, and then I typically answer them based on how we're able to, like, relate. But eventually, the goal is for people to know my story through also having these conversations with my guests.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that my guests are the primary focus of sharing their memories, and then I sprinkle in memories here and there. And so as people watch, they not only learn about my guests, but they also have a chance to learn a little bit about me.
So today, people learned that you want to be the mayor?
Yeah, actually, I think it's the first time I said that. I say it all the time when I was growing up, but I haven't said that in a while, especially publicly.
Dude, Mayor Marvin, that has like a nice ring.
Mayor Marvin, yeah.
Mayor Flores?
Yeah. That
means Mayor Flowers.
It does,
English.
indeed. Yes, sir. En español.
Sí. ¿Tú sabes yo habla español poquito?
No, I do. Ahora sí.
Para más o menos, pero para un gringo es muy bien.
No, you talk well. I understand everything you're saying.
Muchos personas like trabajadores de restaurantes le dicen yo hablo muy bien.
Hablas muy bien. Te entiendo muy bien.
I worked in restaurants like most of my life, or most of my working life, and so I worked around a lot of Hispanic people. And I took Spanish in high school, took 2 years. And I just able to remember a lot of words. And I have a pretty decent vocabulary for Spanish, but my grammar is probably so bad. I probably sound like I'm like the equivalent when you meet someone who speaks broken English. I sound like that when I speak Spanish.
Hey, you know 2 languages. You're able to communicate in more than one language.
Yeah, I can read most signs in California. I know when I go to a really good, Mexican restaurant when it's all in Spanish. Like I know it's legit. I know it's going to be good.
Heck yeah, that's when it's like you show up to like this little hole in the wall and like no one really speaks English. And it's like, oh, like this is gonna be good.
Yeah, it's going to be authentico.
Yeah,
I go, no preocupas, amigos, es auténtico.
I'm dead.
Calmate. Es muy bien.
Oh my god.
Hey, no mames, güey. Am I allowed to say that? Or do you have any relatives in your familia that are going to see that?
I don't think they're going to care.
Okay.
Have you ever thought about writing a song in Spanish?
Oh, yeah. I actually kind of have. But most of the time it's like just me thinking off the top of my head. It's usually avocado is in there and guacamole. I've told some stories about Hombre Lobo.
Okay, well,
he's one of my alter egos.
Yeah.
Because at the last restaurant I worked at, that was one of my nicknames. Was Hombre Lobo.
That's kind of a sick nickname.
The Wolfman.
The Wolfman, yeah.
That's sick. They'd see me talk to the girls too. They would call me like a dog, even though like
bark.
I didn't shit where I ate.
Yeah.
I only did it twice in the 10 years I was at the last restaurant. But one of the guys, he called me the Perro. I was Perro, and what were some of my other... I didn't even share those when you asked me my nicknames.
You didn't.
Hombre Lobo, Pelirrojo Peligroso.
You're called Danger.
Yeah. Barbas, El Matador del Mundo, Bigotes. It was Bigotes is one of them. Mustache Man. Puta. Cabron.
Basically everything.
Yeah. I literally just said, tu habla muchas cosas, pero no, no, le dicen muchos nombres, pero no le dice tarde la cena. Did I say that right? Call me whatever name you want. Just
don't call it dinner. Yeah, that's what you said. Tarde la cena. Yes, sir. Very accurate. See, you got this.
Yeah, but it's broken. But
It's all good, dude.
I don't know. I've my girlfriend really wants to go to Mexico with me.
You should.
She wants to see me go do my mayor bit in Mexico. But
You would get along super well because of the fact that you're so welcoming and just so open to trying things.
yeah,
Like people would love you down there.
because that's like the culture.
The culture. Yeah, Mexico City, like it's very like if you show love, they'll give you love, and I would say they're very receptive to like feeling the vibe. Like if they feel you're authentic and you actually are a genuinely good person, like they're gonna love you, and I know they will for you.
That's like if we can take this subject there, but like that, I have a real respect for like Hispanic culture and specifically like Mexican culture because it is very person and like family oriented, and like there is a lot of like morals. There is a lot of like granted it's not being pushed where we're at right now with the current political climate, but like there is like some of the hardest workers I've ever met have been Hispanic Latino men in a restaurant that are like doing a hard ass job, super stressed out, like taking whatever job they can amongst 3 other jobs. Like a lot of them are working double restaurant jobs or some other sort of business and just doing this really hard job and showing up every day and doing it for their families, and sending money back to their families, in Mexico or Ecuador, wherever they're from, just like putting on for the city, for their family, and that's like whether you can consider it legal or whatnot, that's like a respectable thing. And like that takes a lot of like moral courage and commitment, to like do that. Yeah. But I forget where I was going with that.
That's better. Thanks, buddy.
Have you seen, and I guess this was, I've been thinking about it recently because I saw this movie. Did you see One Battle After Another?
I've not.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
You should go see that movie. I really liked it. Not to give any spoilers away, but Benicio del Toro is the hero of that movie. And his character, you just love his character. And I believe like his character was like supposed to personify the Mexican American experience and like the culture, because in that movie, he's only taking care of his people the whole time. And he welcomes Leonardo DiCaprio into his home with his family. And it is such like I felt like it really was supposed to like personify like Mexican culture. Like we were talking about like the welcoming in, like sit down, have dinner with us. We're cooking, like, here you go. Like, his character does that and just takes care of Leo the whole movie until he sends him on his way. And like, you just love his character. Yeah. And I think it's something that people need to watch that movie and understand. I think that's what Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to do with his character, because there were so many like political undertones with that movie. It's very relevant for everything that's going on right now. But it really humanizes the Mexican Latino American experience. So
I'll give it a shot.
You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch on the drive back home tomorrow.
Yeah. Where's your family from?
So my parents immigrated here from Mexico in the 80s. You're good. They came over during the Reagan administration when they were hiring a bunch of field workers. So Reagan, he recognized that there was a really big need for farm workers in Central California. And so he actually created a program where farmers were able to, it's like a helicopter or something, farmers were able to bring immigrants over to their field work. And so my dad came over, worked in Central California for like a couple months, and then that program helped him get his citizenship like really fast. Like I think within like a year, like even maybe less. And we're from like a small town in Mexico, and so we were able to. My dad came here with some friends. They all worked, and then he went back. Eventually met my mom, and then they both came over, and then I was conceived, and yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Very, very fast.
What's your dad do now?
He is a barber. So he's been a barber for 25 years, probably. Yeah, so he started, when he first came, he was working in like the field and then hospitality. He did he did a bunch of jobs. And then at that point, I was born and my hair I have very thick hair. And so it was growing a lot. And he kind of got tired of like having to pay for someone to cut it. And so he started cutting it himself. And then he was like, I can do this myself. And then,
does he enjoy it?
He does. I think my dad. Funny story. My dad had a 9-to-5 for the first time this past year. He absolutely hated it. Like my dad, that was his first time working a 9-to-5 job, and he despised it because he always worked like a non-traditional job. He would go in for like 2 hours from like 8 to 10, take a 2-hour break, then go back, and then just kind of do breaks throughout the day. And so he was very like, education's the way to go, so that way you don't have to kind of do this. But he's really happy with what he does. He really enjoys it. And so I have a lot of respect for my dad for the fact that, I saw this, I'm like, you came to a country when he was, I think, like 17, not knowing a lick of English, not knowing anything, having debt to his name, and now being able to say that he's been able to raise 3 kids to success and have a home, know English, have a strong clientele in his business. I'm very proud of my dad. I'm very proud of who you are and how you became. It's really funny because like being the child, it's like being so proud of the parent. It's like it's so hard to say that how can I not succeed knowing where I came from? You know,
it's so true though.
Yeah.
You know,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, your dad put on for the city.
Yeah, I mean, you're like even like kind of like what you were saying with your story of like your mom was very driven and grinding, and like your dad was able to like pursue his passion. That's a good mix. Like you have that passion that you want, and you're also driven talking about like your passion in music. Like you're driven to like succeed and really pursue that more, but you're also like doing what you love.
Yeah, you know, and like that's something to look at. Is like, when did your dad become a barber? How old was he?
Right. Early 20s, like maybe 20 and 23, like between that time range. Because he had me when he was like, dude, by my age, my dad had 3 kids.
And that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, being a parent like that.
Spilling your beer.
Oh, shoot. Thank you. That sounds like that is right above us.
I know. It's kind of weird. I can't see it.
That is crazy. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Like, 24 or 34 is the new 24.
Yeah, I love it.
So maybe you need a couple more years, and it's going to hit you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful.
What do you do right now?
Right now, I work at. I've been planning events for like maybe 16 years. Started in high school, and then got a job working in an event catering job. And I really enjoy it, so I do that full time, and then I'm a librarian part time. So I have 2 jobs, yeah. And it's chill. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where I really enjoy, but I'm still trying to find. I saw this interview by this actor. I think his name's Sterling Knight. He was like, he spent most of his life kind of just doing things, trying to find what was going to help feed his soul, because in his eyes, feeding your soul is the way to keep the soul alive. And if you don't feed it, you're not able to really live life to the fullest, because you're constantly trying to just live without actually being alive. And so that resonated with me a lot of like, all right, what's going to help feed my soul? Is it going to be doing this, or is it going to be something else? And so now I'm kind of just trying to do different things to really discover what it is that makes my soul happy and makes my soul feel full. Because right now I'm doing things that like help feed it, but I'm constantly trying to fill that soul inside of me.
And I think it's got to be something you really initiate.
Yeah.
Because like, I can see how this feeds your soul, but you're still kind of like taking what I'm giving you kind of like watching the playing music, like you're participating in that and like getting like that from there. But at the end of the day, it's like, oh, like, am I going and creating that like thing for myself, like an activity you do on your own, you know? Not saying that you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
Like you're garnering the energy or whatever is from participating with someone else, but like, is there something you do on your own when no one's looking that feeds your soul, you know, that I guess is an individual action. Sorry. Are you able to like when in post like bring down the level so you don't hear that stuff on here?
Yeah. I'll play around with it.
Because I feel like I'm like making all these noises and sniffling and like burping.
You're good, dude.
And like wheezing.
It has personality. It has a character.
I'm doing my Tony Soprano.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen The Sopranos?
Yeah.
You know, how
I've seen. Yeah,
you could just hear him breathing heavy in like every episode. Just.
I feel like this is on purpose. I feel like that's his character.
Yeah, that's what
I feel like he does it. I feel like it's just like him, like.
Come, that's why I write in the song.
Yeah.
In this house, Christopher Columbus is a goddamn American hero.
I've got the fit for it right now.
Dude, speaking of, I know you asked, so this fit, who's featuring you today? Who are you wearing today?
This is Dandy Del Mar.
Dandy Del Mar.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a name.
Leisure wear company out of San Clemente. My friends Katie Kai, Stevie, and Alex started this company probably in 2019 or 2018. It was before the pandemic. And then it kind of really grew during the pandemic and afterwards, but they make really cool clothes. I wear a lot of their clothes all the time. I was wearing Dandy Del Mar shorts before I put this on. I wear shorts a lot, and they make really nice terry cloth shorts, the gaucho. I've worn a pair I've had since 2023. I've like worn it to like the end of its life. They're coming apart soon. But yeah, I bought this a couple months ago because I don't know. I also, when it's cold, I'll wear like sweatpants.
Yeah.
And I have a few of these. But I went to their warehouse sale, and one of the guys, Dylan, who works there, who I worked with, I actually worked there for a sec. I worked a warehouse job for a few months in between working my 9-to-5 design job to going freelance. But Dylan, the guy that worked there when I was at the warehouse sale, he's like, "You need a velour tracksuit." And I said, "Oh, really? Yeah. Like, let me see." And he went and pulled this out, and I put it on over my clothes. And this was, in like an industrial park, and multiple people saw me in it, and they're like, "You need to buy that, dude." I mean, it was like $110, and that's like with 30 to 50% off or something like that. So it's definitely an expensive piece of towel clothing, or it's like velvet.
Yeah, it's an investment.
I guess velour.
Makes you feel good.
Oh yeah, this is my second time wearing it out.
Heck yeah.
3. This is 3.
Oh, yeah. It looks soft. It looks comfy.
Yeah, it is really comfy.
Heck yeah, dude. All right, dude. We're gonna go inside because I know people are starting to get hungry and they want to cook and stuff and go in the jacuzzi.
Oh yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for being my guest. This was a beautiful
course.
conversation. I really love talking about your passions.
Thank you. I enjoyed talking with you about my passions and getting to know a little bit about you and your passions and your history, man.
Thank you, dude.
This is really cool that you're doing it, and maybe I'll come back later.
Oh, you will. I'm going to definitely have you back later for sure. For sure.
Next year. But yeah, cheers, Marvin.
Cheers, brother.
Let's have a good rest of our
good night.
trip.